ahead, we have our next question. Like, not everyone is capable of taking all those professional courses related to finance, as we know that it has good amount of investment. So what are the other options less costlier, which are available through which a person can gain the same amount of knowledge in the field of finance?
I do understand that these certifications are very costly, very, very costly when it comes to it. So CFA is 3 lakh, 4 lakh, FRM is 2 lakh, 1 lakh 50,000 at least. So yes, these certifications are costly. But at the end of the day, what you learn from these certifications is way much more important. So I'll give you an example. When I cleared FRM level 2, and there were 3 friends. Me, who cleared both levels of FRM, the other friend who had cleared both levels of FRM, and the third friend who had just cleared one level of FRM. Now, when we sat in the interview rooms, I got the job. The second person who had cleared 2 levels of FRM did not get the job, and the third person who had just cleared 1 level of FRM, that got the job. So it tells you something. What it tells you is that certification at the end of the day is not the only deciding criteria. It gives you a huge advantage, definitely, because out of 400 something students that were in Shahid Bhagat Singh College, only 4 of us ended up getting that job. But 3 of them had started with FRM. So yes, these certifications actually give you a better competitive edge. But at the end of the day, certifications is not the only criteria, because one person had not cleared the final level of FRM, but the other person had cleared the final level of FRM. The one who had cleared the level did not get the job. The one who did not clear the level did get the job. So it more matters that what actually you know. So when you sit in the interview room, if the interviewer checks your knowledge and you do not have anything to say about it, you have nothing to back it up with, they will not be hiring you. And if you have something to back it up with, they will be hiring you. At the same time, even if you have no certifications, but you know everything about the industry, you have made financial models on your own. You do not have a certification for that, but you have made financial models on your own. You have made projections on your own. You have made equity research reports on your own. So if you have done all of these things on your own, trust me, as a recruiter, I would choose you, because you're street smart. You do not need a certification for that. So a recruiter at the end of the day wants to see what you actually know, not that what you have in your resume. That actually helps to a certain extent, because that acts as a reflection of you. Your resume acts as a reflection of you, but at the same time, what you know personally matters a lot. Now, my recommendations to you guys would be, you can get started with financial modeling. That would not cost you more than 6,000-7,000 rupees. You get started with that, make financial models on your own. One more friend out of these 4 friends who ended up getting into this investment bank, one of them had only done financial modeling, no FRM, no CFA, nothing else. He had just done financial modeling, but what he did alongside with financial modeling was start making financial models. He started making financial models. He made a financial model on Saudi Aramco and Reliance Industry and their relation and what their future projections would look like. He made 2 more models, out of which one was given, there was some India ka competition, and that got 2nd rank over there. So he had done nothing else, just made financial models, just completed 1 course and made financial models out of that. So if you're looking for something else, a cheaper thing, something that is not that costly on your pockets, I'll say financial modeling is something you can go ahead with, but not just completing it. Get, like, you be the best in financial modeling. You make so many financial models that once you sit in front of the recruiter should think like, "Arey, isko nahi lunga to kisko lunga?"
Like nowadays, what people are doing, it's like they're just completing the course. They're just adding that particular certificate in their resume, but you never know that they actually know that thing practically or not. Like they're doing that, they're mentioning that thing particularly in their resume, but they don't actually know what are the things. Okay, so we are moving ahead to the next question, and we can start with that. So, talking about the finance field, it's like really vast, as you have said earlier, that it's really, really very vast. So how can one figure out that in his future, he wants to pursue finance in India or abroad? So which one is the better option?
See, when you think about finance in India, it's more of a KPO kind of a system. Now, what is KPO? KPO is knowledge process outsourcing, wherein we actually take the work of a person who is sitting in Germany and do that work here in India. Now, let's suppose we have to hire a professional from Germany who has to do financial analysis, just the back end work of financial analysis. We have to pay that person at least 80,000 to 1 lakh euros ki salary. That's the basic that you have to pay to a person in Germany. Now that translates to loosely somewhere around 70 to 80 or 90 lakh rupees. You can actually hire 8 to 9 people in India for the same salary. So that is why we're moving towards the back end work. Now, if you plan to stay in India for the finance industry, India itself is becoming a huge financial center. Not saying that, but majorly the roles that we have right now are into the KPO system as the beginner. So the finance remuneration that you'll be getting would not be that amazing. So if you plan to move towards the international countries also, it would be hard. Why? Because we are at such a huge level of globalization right now that, as I said, most of the work that had to be done in Germany is now being done in India. Front end office, front end shop is in Germany. The research reports are sold in Germany, but actually made in India. The research reports are sold in US, but made in India. The research reports are sold in France, but made in India. So that's a trade-off. Now, if you want to stay in India, you'll be more towards the back end side, but yeah, so would be much more stable. Okay, but when you move towards international countries, the number of job opportunities that you'll have would not be that much, because again, the third world countries and the second world countries, India, China, have already taken over all the work that you had to do. So the remuneration that you'll be getting in the front end jobs in these countries, amazing, amazing, amazing. Like 1 to 2 cr, 3 to 4 cr is something that you can actually end up saving from your job at the end of the day, from in a year, from these front end countries, after 4, 5, 7 years of your work experience in those countries. But the job certainty and the difficulty to find those jobs would be equally difficult, because all the jobs are being taken by Indians and Chinese.
Like we do have a knowledge, but in India we do have resources and knowledge, but the one thing that we don't have is like the actual managing thing, that how we can manage that particular thing.
So the thing is, India has the brains, but India's finance industry is not that well set up. You just have to understand that India just got its freedom like 60, 70 years ago, right? And US
Yeah,
has got its freedom 270 years ago. So the financial market of US is actually 200 years elder to India. Now just see the compounding that would have happened in these 200 years. And that's the reality. I'm saying that we will become a huge market in ourselves, a huge financial market in ourselves. But right now, we're the brains behind all these big stock markets, behind all these big financial companies. So the biggest offices of Deloitte, EY, all your big fours are actually in Gurgaon. Like the huge offices, majority of their work is being offshore to India. So that actually goes on to tell you that India has the brain, but right now it does not have the market to serve that brain. So that is why we're actually importing all our work, importing the work from outside.
exactly. Like this was something that I got to know, that I wasn't aware about it. So, we always say that we are interested in banking and finance field. As far as I know, there is a huge difference between both of them. Like core banking and all the finance is completely different now. So how to be sure that we want to go for banking or finance?
See, when we talk about banking, banking per se is just like, uh, first of all, your top bankers are at the end of the day finance professionals. So that's a good thing. When people think that banking and finance are closely knit by, closely related, that's true. But when you go to the downward side, most of the employees that banks have are salespersons. Majority of them are salespersons, majority of them are operations persons, majority of them just check whether to give a loan to someone or not, whether the papers are perfect or not. So if you want to enter towards that side, I would say getting an internship in banks would not be that difficult. Why? Because you would have any of your relatives working there. Everyone has someone in their family, in their immediate family, or in their second family who is working in a bank. And asking them to get you an unpaid internship in a bank, I don't think that would be a tough thing, because getting a sales and operations key job, these banks also want more people. Every time they want more and more people to join and do sales for them. So if you want to do that, you will get an understanding of that. On the other hand, finance industry is a bit more theoretical. It's more into calculations, it's more into Excel, sitting in front of an Excel, making financial models, making financial projections, finding out the intrinsic value of a bond, finding out the intrinsic value of a derivative, sitting in front of a trading desk and trading all day. So it's more towards the technical side, and banking in the early stages is more towards the operations and sales side, and then managing side. But as we move ahead, your top bankers, the people who actually sit in the that head offices of these treasury offices of these banks, they actually are good financial professionals. They have the degrees like mathematics honors or physics honors or stats honors, because those are the actual people who are running the bank. Those are the actual people who are making the statistical models as to how much loan should we give, how much credit risk do we need to take, how much market risk do we need to take. So those are the more finance professionals there. But in your front end banking jobs, those aren't that lucrative according to me. It might be for some other people, not for me, but for those you will have operations and sales predominantly.
Yeah, so basically in banking we do only have two services, like they'll provide us deposit services and the borrowing wala part.
Exactly. So either you're asking your customer to make a borrowing or you're telling your customer to take a loan. That's majority what banks do.
So moving on to the next question, what are some online free courses and the resources for the best practices students should make sure that they complete that particular course to boost their financial knowledge? Like any advice that you have that these are the free resources that you can use?
See, I inherently have a bit of prejudice against this question, because when we look for free material, right, we have to understand that we're not looking at the best material. Because if anyone is doing something for free, that does not help them in any way. I think I'm a very good finance instructor, so I would not actually give you my courses for free. So, and another thing is, we do not think of free material when we go out with our friends. When we go out with our friends, we go to a movie, we do not see, we usually end up spending more than $1,000 over there. We go for outing with our friends, eating out with our friends, we end up spending more than 2-3 thousand on the bill alone. So we do not think of saving money over there. But when it comes towards our education, we think of, okay, ye to course bahut mehanga hai, I cannot do that. So that's the first thing that we need to change. We need to change our priorities. What are we spending our money on? I know so many people who have Netflix subscriptions but would not go ahead with the finance course or anything that would actually help them gain a skill. So many people who have Amazon Prime subscriptions. Why? Because Amazon Prime bhi chahiye hoga kabhi. I understand Netflix is something you might watch, but Amazon Prime is not something that you end up watching every day, but you do take a subscription for that as well. So if you're taking a subscription for Amazon Prime, if you're taking a subscription for Netflix, why not spend that money on your education? That's my first point. Second point, I do understand that there are courses that are very expensive. Do not go for them, but there are some better resources at a cheaper rate. You can go ahead with them. So those are my 2 cents on that. And if you want free material, the maximum free things that you get are from FinLadder only. We share CFA curriculum books, FRM ki books, financial modeling ki books, everything that we do, mostly when it is free, it's for sample basis. Honestly, the best things that we have are for the students who enroll for our courses. But at the same time, we do end up giving free services to at many levels. And that is what other people would do. I'm not saying that this is only FinLadder and FinLadder is a very amazing company. No, this is something every company does. They do give out samples to you, free things to you. But those are just to encourage you to go ahead with the premium versions. Now, if you stick with the free versions, trust me, if I just tell you how many people have taken CFA books from me, that would be more than 5,000 people. Free books chahiye to 5,000 log aa gaye. But I'm pretty sure that none of those 5,000, I'll say not even 50 of those 5,000 would have gone through those books just because it was free. So yeah, make sure that you do not prioritize your entertainment and leisure over your education, over your skill building.
Like, I'm totally agreeing with that answer of yours. Like, nowadays people are spending much more amount on their entertainment purpose, like not looking for the knowledgeable thing. And that thing where you share that you are sharing the free resources and you have shared like almost 5,000 people. I also do that thing. Like in LinkedIn, on LinkedIn, if someone is saying that, yeah, just mail us your ID, I'll be sharing that.
and I'll send it to you. And you never open your email ID. Max to max, you open it once, see what that person has sent you, and close it. It has never happened that you would, or maybe some amazing person actually goes on and checks that link 3 times, opens it the next day, next to next day, but not more than that, because it's a free resource. ये तो है ही, ये तो सबके पास ही है. I'll just ignore that. That's something that happens very commonly.
It's like I have this resources, I can read it afterwards. What will happen? Yeah.
Exactly.
So yeah, moving ahead to the next question. So fintech is like a new norm. So what would you recommend to the students to be well aware of this concept so that they know that yeah, fintech is something that we are hearing for our future. We are heading towards the future, and this is the part of something that we'll get to know in future as well. So like, what is your advice?
See, fintech, we're moving towards fintech. That's true. That's a reality. So that is why I actually ask people from whichever field they are, Python is something that would be very important. I'd say 10, 20 years ago, mobile phone, I'll say 30 years ago, people used to think that mobile phone is the future. So those people who did not go ahead with it actually are struggling right now. So that's one. Then people used to think Excel is very important. Now during the pandemic also, so many people just needed to learn Excel, basic Excel, how to function on Excel. So these are becoming like the norms. This is the least that you should know. Talking to a computer is the least that you should know, would be something in the future. Because if you even check the curriculum, if you check what the government is doing with regards to the curriculum of our schools, they're bringing in, introducing Python. So that means that the next generation would know Python. It would be like they know English, they know Python, they know Hindi. That is what the next generation, at least if not the current generation, the next generation would know. So more and more things would be developed in a manner which would have your computers interacting with you. So if you stay behind the curve, you'll face a lot of difficulty moving ahead. So the best thing that you can do is right now is stay alongside with the trend. And actually the trend is that people should know computer science, people should know data analytics. So if you wish to come towards the finance side and you do not want your job to be taken away by a robot, you would actually need fintech.
It's like talking about our parents' era when they were not having Android phones, and something actually developed, and for them that was new thing. For them that was like a new norm. But for
Exactly.
us, this is a normal. This is a normal. We do not actually feel something different for using Android phone. So yeah, when we go 30 to 40 years ahead, fintech will be normal. Like yeah, this is something we
That would be a normal thing. So no one thinks of becoming a driver now, right? Why don't they think of becoming a driver? Because at some point in the near future only, like 4 5 years, there will be automatic cars, like self-driving cars. That is already there, but then they will be so predominant that the whole driver industry would go away. That will vanish altogether. So just giving you an example of driver, but there are so many other industries that have completely vanished just because of automation, and that is going to happen. I'm saying that will happen in finance industry also. So you'll have to stay ahead of the curve and keep on improving yourself.
we need to go along with the pace.
Exactly.
That if we do not consider ourselves in an equilibrium position with all those technical things, then we will be obviously far more behind from all those
You'll be
things
stuck
that we are
behind and
developing.
you will be regretting it later on, that why did I not do that. अगर उस टाइम पे कर लिया होता कितना easy होता. And it's very easy to say कि अगर मैंने उस टाइम पे कर लिया होता कितना easy होता, अगर मैंने 12th में वो चीज कर ली होती कितनी amazing होती. But then going back to 12th right now would be impossible. You cannot go back in time unless there is a time machine, which I actually would want to have.
Thank you so much, like, for answering all those questions in a true way, like in an actual generic way. Because what happens whenever we ask questions to some of the people and to some of the seniors, they try to sugarcoat some of the things, and they doesn't come up with the actual scenario and the like real check that yeah, this is something you're gonna face in your future if you will come up with that particular field. So thank you so much. It was amazing to hearing you. And yeah, just to winding up that thing, if anyone has any question, they can put that in the comment section and we'll be trying to cover that question in our next video. Thank you so much, Murad. That was like amazing hearing you. And yeah,
Thank you so much for having me, guys. Thank you so much.